It's time.
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? All right. Today we have. This is not my music, by the way. I do not own this. This is All Informs by Bonobo. Amazing song, amazing musician. He's not on the show today, though. Maybe one day we will be able to get to the level and have Bonobo. But I would say that some of the people on here today are equally as exciting and amazing, you know? Sorry, I don't want that to mess up the intro. But today we have Miss Vanessa Hernandez. We have Taisha DeMay and Tony Dody. So the goal of this show, as you may have seen or may not have seen, is of course to be bringing people from all over the globe, people from basically authors. I would definitely say at this phase and this stage of everything is definitely geared towards writers, authors, people in the book industry, and people that work within or work without the book industry in order to accomplish this goal of becoming successful authors. So I'm in, and as per usual, you know, don't be afraid to all come at once. But just gonna check in real quick, see where everyone's at. And I guess I'll give like a better intro for these people. I'll let them introduce themselves as well. But since I got you here one-on-one and we got some time pre-show, let's get this going. So Taisha DeMay, I would say first, Miss Taisha DeMay and Miss Vanessa Hernandez are both members of the Multicultural Writers Collective. Happy to have them. Taisha is the author of about 10 books, which is amazing. I don't know how long she's been writing, but I'll ask, I guess. Hopefully I remember to ask. Miss Vanessa Hernandez, she has her first book published. I've seen the cover. I do not remember the title, but I'm pretty sure she'll let you guys know a couple of times. Hopefully she has a copy with her. I guess I'll grab my books real quick as well. And she has a new book coming out that's available right now for pre-order. So if you vibe with her during this, then check it out. And then Tony Dody is someone that one of my guests, Christy Main, actually introduced me to. Tony Dody is awesome. Hey, what's up? How's everything going?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I like the punctuality.
Thanks.
How's your day so far?
It's good. It's been busy.
Good.
Just crammed it all into one. From 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
I feel it. Oh my God, we had to go to the grocery store today to get some onions, like last minute stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in Jersey or are you in like?
I'm in Florida.
You're in Florida. Oh God, thank God for you, man. That's good. Enjoy it. Well, I'm in Jersey.
Because of the weather?
Yeah, we're having a snowstorm right now. So Everybody is at the grocery store right now. I thought I was gonna have to wait there for about 2 hours. But I snuck around to the dairy section and I went up one of those aisles. There's only like 5 people standing there. As soon as you walk in the store, there's like literally 50 people going all the way back to the grocery store in the produce section, waiting to get checked in and in line. I was like, I'm not dealing with that shit.
Yeah.
So I got out of there pretty quick. Tony, are you in there?
What's up, brother? Yeah, I'm jumping on actually on the computer, but I want to just pop in before we started here. How you doing?
I'm great. How was your day so far?
Doing okay. Same thing with the grocery store, but I'm with Vanessa. I'm in Florida, so I'm out right outside Miami. But I'm from Jersey originally. We don't miss that cold weather.
I'm from Jersey too, but I'm not in Miami. I'm in Orlando.
Oh, okay.
But another big city.
Did you go ahead, Tony.
On Thursday. Go ahead. Say again.
I was gonna ask, are you going to Universal or Disneyland, Vanessa?
Oh, I had Universal passes, and we did that for a year. My kids are a little old; they don't for Disneyland. So, but we did Universal passes, and then they have little resort water parks and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
it's good to just have somewhere to go.
I feel it. I feel it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But right now with COVID, I mean, 2020, there was nothing of any of that at all.
Really?
So
We have,
yeah.
well, as you know, we have Six Flags up here. They're only doing reservations. Funplex is shut down right now. I've been to Disney, whichever. I don't know if it's Disney World or Disneyland, which one's in Orlando. But
Disney World, yeah.
yeah, I've been to Disney World for like when I was like 8 or so for my birthday. And I still I didn't really get to enjoy it because I was too small and too scared for a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of adults. You see, there's more adults in Disney World sometimes than there are kids, and adults with no kids too.
Guilty as
So
charged.
it's definitely
Guilty
something
as
you
charged.
don't. Yeah, it's definitely something you don't. Some people don't grow out of. Just
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's
right.
cool.
I just realized you're Rosa's Vanessa. What's up? I know you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was you. How are you?
Yes.
Cool.
Good, thanks.
That's funny. So Jersey, now in Orlando. We're going to be there. We have a big retreat on Thursday for True Living, the personal growth self-development group. And so we got people coming in from everywhere. And then, so we're going to do Thursday and Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We rented a big house in Davenport, like a 14-bedroom house, like a mini mansion.
Sounds awesome.
And then Sunday, we're going to do Disney. So we don't know if it's going to be Epcot or Disney Springs, whatever. We'll figure that out. So.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
exciting.
that's
Like
so
I want to
cool.
get into doing those kind of events and hosting them, and because I work, I
I'd be
network
happy
market
to do that.
also, so I have a big group of people. But I don't like that. Sounds like a lot of work.
How do you,
to
how do
organize
you,
that with all the people and
Yeah, you need a team. Honestly, Mike is my partner, Mike Peluso. I don't know. Have you guys met Mike yet?
kind of, I'm friends with him on Facebook, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. I'll introduce you. He's amazing. He's like Tony Robbins. He's I'm not even exaggerating. He's the best coach. And I've been around Tony. Tony's partner for 10 years, Doug O'Brien, was my mentor, my speaking partner. And I have to say, I would put them just about equal. He's amazing. So he put a lot of it together. I helped out, and we have people flying in, and it's cool. He's just going to be doing journey work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He's actually a shaman too, which is amazing. And then he has
That's awesome.
a monk, believe it or not. A monk is coming out, a Shaolin monk. He was in the monastery for 5.5 years. He's going to be there and just helping everyone break through and get to the next level of their life. And it's going to be really cool. And then Sunday we're going to do a Disney day. So
yeah,
I don't usually ask questions on this show. I don't really have any questions or anything prepared for you two. So we're just going to keep flowing like we're doing for a while. But I do have a question for you right now, Tony, because I just got done reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've read it before, but like some people take this kind of trail in their life where like they stop doing the kind of 9-to-5 thing. They invest in themselves, they believe in themselves, and they make a pretty good life of it, whether it's with riches or it's just networking or with experiences. What happened in your life? I mean, not like negatively, not like in a traumatic type of way of all, but what set up and happened in your life that you became Tony Dody versus, working as an accountant somewhere,
Right. Yeah. That's a good question. So are we live now? I didn't know. I thought we were just kind of talking right now. So are we like,
yeah, we're currently, I was actually, right before you two got in, I was actually doing introductions. And when I was about to introduce Tony, Vanessa popped in and then you popped in right after.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, sorry, off the cuff. Probably should have told you guys that you've been doing fantastic so far.
Good. Let me comb my hair a little. No,
you look handsome. You look great.
Thank you.
This is like I say to everybody, this is not the Tonight Show. This is discussions. Like super cash, man. Like it's cool. But what happened that like how did you become this guy?
So, it's interesting because my original mentor is going to be coming down to the retreat. And I'm really excited because it's, I met him, 17 years ago. I'm 39 now. So I was 23, I believe. And, I joke when I say this, but I was on like that 6-year program for the 4-year degree. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those deals in college. I there's a saying that the A students work for the C students, the B students work for the government, right?
Yeah.
And so, I've always been like this type person that, I've always loved people. I was really shy, but my first mentor saw a lot in me. I was the quiet kid in the back of the classroom, right? That was me at that point. I failed public speaking, not even in high school, in college. In college, I failed public speaking, right? And so here's a guy that saw something in me, Andrew Penotakis, and I love him with all my heart. He's coming down this week. I'm really excited. He's coming to the retreat. But the bottom line is that he saw something in me. And, I like to look at people the same way. I like to see what could be, not necessarily what is quite yet. If you look hard enough, there's beauty in everyone. There's just this. I always say there's 8 billion people. We're all equal. Some of us a little further career-wise than other people, but don't make anyone better than anyone else, right? Just makes, some people a little further career-wise is what it is, right?
Yeah, we took 3 paths.
Yeah, we're all equal, and so I kid you not, I went from again, Vanessa, you mentioned network marketing. So that was my initial background. I started with a company back then called Limu, which was a big competitor to Monavi at the time, and Noni and Goji and all the juice companies. And it was a seaweed, so a little bit different. It wasn't a fruit juice company. And so Andrew saw something in me, and I literally went to my first meeting. And after I was introduced, and then when I kind of got in, I just had this burning desire, right? And so I remember speaking in front of a kitchen room table, decent sized house, in front of 7 people. Right. And you would think I was speaking in front of like 70,000 people. Right. I was like shaking. I was nervous at the time. Word. And then he just worked with me, and he would critique, and he would say, you did this good, salt and pepper. Right. This is what you did good. This is what we need to work on, type thing. Right. Salt and pepper. And so within a relatively short period of time, I was speaking from like 50 people at a hotel meeting, then, 300 people at a larger meeting.
That's
and then within about a year and a half, I was at a year, maybe 8 months, I was at 3,000 people at the international conferences, and they called me the Limu Kid, and and it was an honor, and I eventually got to the point where back then they had DVDs, right? This is 2005-ish at this point. So they put me on their DVD, they flew us down to Mexico. There was about 10 of us. I was one of their success stories and so forth. I was a waiter, right? Put myself through college. I was a waiter in a bus, but I put myself through school. And I always knew I wanted more. But, I always say this with mentorship, right? This is why people need coaches. A lot of people think that they don't need coaches, and the ones that really think they don't need coaches are the ones that really do need coaches, which is what's funny. But, a mentor can give you 20/20 foresight. The reason why they can give you 20/20 foresight rather than 20/20 hindsight is because they've walked that walk, right? They talk that talk, they've done it. And it's like that old picture where you just walk in the footsteps, right? On the beach, if you walk shoulder to shoulder, you can just acclimate to what they do, mix it with your personality, and just mirror match and model. And then you can become successful too, as long as you, I mentioned burning desire, you need that, but as long as number 2, you hang in there long enough for it to happen. You got to be bad for your good and good for your great. It's like what Jim Rome says. And eventually I got my first celebrity, which was Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist we talked about him, my buddy Kurt. Excellent. And I had a hearing of what he needed, and I helped him to get off painkillers, and he wrestled Dixie Colton from TNA. Offered him a very large contract,
His stent. I'm sorry, you're going on for a while, so we gotta
go ahead. I'm getting fired up. Go ahead. You got me
there's definitely something you said I want to come back to, but I have to respond to anything that involves TNA like immediately. We spoke before. I'm a huge wrestling fan. Kurt Angle's run in TNA is some of the best work that he's ever done in his life.
Great.
It's like he had just left ECW. When they reconstructed ECW, they brought in CM Punk and all that. Vanessa, come in the conversation. I'm about to actually like a question in a second, but I had to respond to the Kurt Angle thing. And it's just everything. He showed a different side of intensity, a different side of health. He was going through a divorce at that time where he had the divorce already with his wife. And it's like his ability to live his life on camera and to be the type of guy that can just – he's like, I imagine he's one of the most humble guys on fucking God's green earth.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't so many cool stories. Yeah.
But that's like, it shows because he's literally like Eddie Guerrero did the same thing. He has his whole life pro wrestling, or just wrestling in general. But Vanessa, when I was doing your introduction earlier, I introduced you. I know you have one book out, but I forgot the title of the name. So
it's Uncharted Freight.
Why did you name it that?
I wanted a title that was, I felt So I wanted a title that I felt like could maybe interest any kind of person. I didn't want people to think because they knew me or they know of me that they assumed how I would write, and they assume it would just be this urban book. So I wanted to do something not so generic, so it wouldn't come off as like that stigma urban
I
books,
feel
just because I want to reach, all kinds of interests. And some people, some sci-fi turns me off immediately,
I feel
so I wanted to try to kind of throw it off that way. So it's the book is about exporting. A big part of the main character's life is about exporting. So that's why I named it Uncharted Freight, because she has chartered freight going back and forth until she doesn't anymore.
so is it all right? So I resonated with two things both of you said, but I have to respond to one thing you said about urban fiction. I feel the same type of way, but I feel that way. I feel like that's just a general struggle with living in Black America.
Yeah.
Is trying to break the
Exactly.
mold
That's
and
just
the idea.
unfair. Yeah.
But with urban fiction, it's like the title in general just says, where do we put Black books? Like,
Yeah.
we got a bookstore. Where do these go? Okay, it's about Black people, urban fiction. So I resisted for a while calling my books urban fiction or urban fantasy, as I do as of literally 2 days ago. I just changed my. I was talking to author Ari K. She'll be on the show sometime in February or March. I don't remember the exact date, but we were having a conversation about urban fiction writers and urban fiction authors. And I have my own preconceptions of it because it seems like there's a lot of tropes that get overused that do the Black community like zero good.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. And then it like kind of hurts in a way when it's Black people propagating the negative stereotype. And it's like you got the power to create something that can literally set people free for centuries. I just got done reading The Prince by Mark. I even got the Bible right. This book was written like 2,000 years ago, and it's still influencing people. You have a beautiful platform to do something amazing. Let's stop talking about our death and our destruction and the worst parts. Let's create something. But she said that her books, even though they have these tropes, they help her heal. It gives her catharsis. It helps her deal with the fact that she's been through sexual assault, helps her deal with the fact that she's had some of these negative relationships and stereotypes in her life. And it's not a matter of like really glamorizing it, but it's a matter of revealing it, showing it as it really is. Do you feel like with your writing that you're healing some parts of yourself, or that you're giving peace to some parts of yourself? Or are you just working in the realm of fantasy and fiction entirely, just having fun and having a great time?
Yes and no. Like, what I write about isn't the healing part about it, but the fact that I take the time and I write and I go into the zone and I think about what's going to be my next scene and the next look and the next, and doing the research about all of it. I mean, that fills a void that I have, so I like putting it there. So not so much into the story I'm telling, but into the production of the story. That's definitely, the healing process of it, of just getting through life.
Your book cover looks amazing. Like both.
Thank you. Well, I got feedback about that too. I know that there's people who, a lot of reviews I got is I probably wouldn't have picked if it wasn't like the way it was recommended to me, or if I talked to you by the title and by the cover, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But I get that a lot, and I've read other places where it's like, oh, it's a good idea to, like, when you get that kind of feedback, to change the cover. One guy said he wasn't getting any sales, and then because he was getting that feedback, he changed his cover, and then he got a bunch of sales and a bunch of attraction. But I really just want to just kind of stay like true to my initial creation, and just leave it like that. I don't plan to stop writing, so I'm like, the next cover, do a little better, make it maybe more colorful, maybe more fun, depending. I want to write a story about the industry that I had my career in, and a fiction story about that. And so for the next book. But I'm glad, thank you for that compliment, because I don't get it often.
Yeah, there's not a lot of. I was watching Christy Mann and Debbie Levinson, I believe her last name is, and they were talking about this is like one of the biggest industries where rejection is literally the industry. Like every single person has an ego. Every single person thinks that they're the greatest author that God has created. And some people you can't tell anything. Some people are humble, very like open to learning. So I'm glad people let you know that, because like it's like your cover. It's like some people won't even pick up your book if they see that you're the publisher. If you're self-published, they don't read self-published books. So that's another thing with urban fiction that I don't really take an issue with, but I guess I would forewarn people on, is that it's like an industry in which people are very, very critical. I like that though. I don't really have any issue with that. But it's like it's a very slim margin.
I think the outside of urban, fiction is very critical, because I think the
I would say
community in
that
itself
too.
is very supporting.
Yeah,
That
I'm
a
very
lot of
new
urban authors, they support each other. There's a lot of groups for them.
Word.
But I want to piggyback something off of what Tony said, because I have an interest in eventually speaking. I've always wanted to speak, and it's like everyone I become friends with, I always just become this mentor, and they just gravitate towards me, and I really enjoy like pumping out, that motivation, that energy. Like even what you were just saying with I have a friend of how large of an industry it is. I have a friend who wants to do fitness, and I'm trying to encourage her in so many ways, but she feels like there's so much competition. I'm like, what are you crazy? Like I wrote a book, like, I'm up against the masses. Like, like competition is just, you can't think that way. But I always find myself in that position. I would like to do it on a larger scale. So I think there's a stigma that like, if you're not already in the $1 million club, you don't really have a seat at the table. I guess, I mean, that's something that I've always thought. So I wanted to like tell you, I thought that, and see what advice you have for me.
Yeah. So can I jump in with that, Daryl?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
So we're here for.
I get excited, so I talk. So I'm like, all right. I tell myself, mute, let them talk. Okay. Yeah. So I get excited. So first of all, you have a good voice, Vanessa. You do. You really do have a good voice. And outside of this, I definitely would love to connect with you. I know we talked about it last time. And I've been running. I'm sure you have too. But you have a good voice. So that in and of itself, your tone, inflection, pitch, in your voice, you're easy to follow. It's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And obviously, Rosa saw something in you. Ant's my partner. I love him with all my heart. But number two to that is that nobody's born. Some of them are, right? Paris Hilton, all right, but nobody's really born for the most part, at the millionaire table. And then look at Paris Hilton. Look what she did to Conrad Hilton's name. I mean, come on, So, a lot of times when you work for it and then you get it, there's that, you have more of a, so there's something more there, right? And so nobody really wakes up like that. You have to just do it. And so with me personally, like when I met Kurt, going back to Kurt, I eventually met like Dwayne Johnson's father, Rocky, and then Mick Foley, and actually I think the other way around, and Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett, which you mentioned Jeff earlier. Jeff was the guy with Kurt, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that it was just getting more and more people, and I met movie producers, I befriended them, right? And I met book people, and I befriended them, Rick Frischman and Gary Krebs and all these names and so forth, right? And it's just like having conversations. Oh, great, the thing just popped up. It's dying. I have to plug this in and move. It's having conversations with people, and they're no different. Yeah, they might have some accolades and some things behind them and so forth, but it's no different than having a conversation like with who we're having a conversation with now, just all of us talking. A conversation with, and a conversation with Daryl, to be honest, it's really not, a conversation with the, president of the Tesla Foundation, Will, who I talk to probably 3 times a day. It's no different than having a conversation with, my buddy Ryan, right? It doesn't matter.
Word.
It's just, so, you have to hang in there long enough for it to happen. It's always about networking. And it's always about just listening and hearing, what people need. Like when I met Kurt, and I keep going back to him because he was my original, he was addicted to painkillers. And he was on 6.5 of the 10-strength Percocets a day. And he was on his words, death watch, from WWE. He said that he wanted to go part-time like Shawn Michaels or Undertaker. And he said, in his words, he actually said he was better than both of them. And Vince wouldn't let him go. And he had a need, and so he had a lot of money. He's done very well with the fame and so forth, but he didn't have his health at that time, right? And I was there, and I was able to give him something he needed which he then brought me into his world, you know. And then when he went through,
Thank you for that.
of course, yeah, no, absolutely. He literally sent me a thing in the beginning, 2 months in when Dixie hired him. He said, "Ant, you saved my career and possibly my life," you know. And you know, Kurt Angle, Olympic champion, and it was 7-time world champ at the time. You know, he's like 12-time or something. But you know, the bottom line is, you know, you talk about what you saw on TV with Jeff Jarrett and Karen. That happened years later. That actually really happened 2 years prior, and I was part of that. You know, he told me, you know, I can count on my hand 5 people that have been there for me. You know, one of them was Kevin Nash, one of them was Dave Hawkins' manager, another was Bubba the Love Sponge. Forget the other one, and I was like the 5th one. And that was cool, you know. But just going back, you know, I know we're kind of jumping a bit. So specifically what you said, Vanessa, is like don't ever feel that way, because it takes one connection like that, right? And like the Thanos snap, right? And the world changes, like literally, you know. And I say this all the time. Like Simon Sinek wrote the famous book, It Starts With Why. You know, Will and I were talking, you know, from Tesla the other day, and he said, you know, I know Simon, you know, and you know, I believe it starts with what, and it's fueled by your why. And I say this a lot, but it happens with how. But typically, to get the how, you need the who. Right. And that's what it comes down to. And it's like when you talk to enough people, you're going to find that person, Vanessa, that can catapult you. That's how this moniker Dreammaker came about. Not because, like, you know, I'm a genie. It's because I put people with people because I have a hearing for what they need. And, you know, sometimes it works out, and sometimes it's a grand slam. And it, you know, I get these text messages or these emails or letters or just the phone conversations, and you've changed my life. And it's like the most beautiful thing in the world. But it all comes down to that whole analogy of that candle, right? A candle never loses any of its flame while lighting another candle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I believe in that. And I think just like I have a lot of hunger, and I'm not sure, like, I have it everywhere, you know, like there's just so much hunger. I do network marketing, which I absolutely love. Before I got on this call, I was on that call, but I've connected to like this realm of women that's, you know, some that are mothers, some that aren't, career women, you know, stay-at-home moms. And it's just so much, there's so much to reach. And yeah, so I just feel really passionate about that, just networking with people and working with people and inspiring people. And that's really where I want to end up in all of this. Because I have a full-time career, you know, I work 60 to 70 hours a week. You know, I have a really demanding career, and I get paid very well for someone who dropped out of high school. You know, I worked really hard, you know, and but it's not my end all be all, you know. It pays the bills for now, and I love it, you know, and but I just wanna lead with passion and not with like
I like that.
the corporate world.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you, what, if you don't mind me asking, what's your network marketing company?
I work with Monat, the hair company. It's a hair care, skincare company.
That's working.
Thank you. No, if you see before and after pictures, you'll see that it really has, like, it's changed my hair. It's cleared up my skin. It's like, it's done everything. And I don't put all into it because it's not my passion, but it's something that somebody convinced me that they thought I would be good at. Well, first I started as a client, and they were like, you really should sell this, you know? And so I started to do it just for free products. But I love it. I mean, I don't put all in. People reach out to me all the time though. What are you using for your hair? What was your last video about?
Sure.
You know, I just talk about it, and I just let people reach out to me. And but you know, it's fun money. That's fun stuff. It fills my day. It fills my week. Because I feel like if I'm not working, you know, or if I'm, you know, I'm parenting, but my kids are also a little older. My son is turning 14 on Tuesday. My daughter's 10. Thank you. And they're, you know, they're not so much clingy anymore. You know, they do their own thing a lot. So so I have the time, and I just try to put it in. But yeah, I have my strategic ways that I've tried to go about, like promoting my book and stuff like that. But I'm always looking. That's why this is fun. And Anthony, I went to school with Rosa. So
you went to school with Rosa? Okay.
What school?
Yeah, North Bergen High School. We went to high school together.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. I dropped out. I dropped out because I got pregnant with my son, but we went to school together.
Did you eventually get your GED?
Yeah, I did when I turned 30. So when I wanted to start, thank you. When I wanted to start writing, when I said, you know what, that's it, I'm gonna write a book. I thought I have to go to college if I'm gonna write a book. I'm not an avid reader. I haven't written in years. I've never wrote a book. I only used to write poems. I'm like, I have to go to college. There's no way I'm going to do
Sure.
this without college. So then I got my GED, and it took me about 3 months. I passed each test the first time, which I was shocked as shit that I did that. And yeah, but then I ended up not going to college. I ended up just I just started writing, and I skipped that whole step, but it got me my GED.
Word.
Well, and I think, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, please. I'll go. Please, man, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so, back in the day, it's like you had to go to school, right? It was a very industrial, obviously, country. You went to high school, you graduated, you went to college, right? So not everyone, but many did, and then you did the career thing. It's so different now. There's so many college alternatives. One of them is network marketing. I got my associate's degree. I never finished my 4-year degree. Because I realized I was not groomed to work for someone else. It's just not who I was, and it's okay because I go to this all the time, talk about the baseball diamond, a pitcher, a catcher, first baseman, shortstop. You got to realize who you are on the baseball diamond and then just go, fill the rest of your team. Just win a World Series. Like that's how you win a World Series. Get 9 people that are phenomenal at what they do that are different than you. Same value, same morals, same foundation, right? But just different. And you fill in the blanks of what you're not. Right, and you fill in the blanks of what they're not, right? And that's how you win a World Series. You don't win it with 9 pitchers, right? You just don't, And so you don't need college, like you don't. And you're a perfect example of that. You're a testament of that.
I would say though, hold on one sec.
Okay, yeah.
I would say though, I've went that pathway. I think all of us probably did. But if you start college, I would definitely recommend that you just finish, just for the sake of debt. Because it's a lot easier to pay off that college debt with that bachelor's degree than attempting to pay it off.
Yeah.
And you have to tell
without it. Yeah, no,
college.
it
changes things. The whole reality is different. The way it affects your credit score is different. The way it affects your options that you have is a lot different. And then the relationships that you have with people is going to reflect whatever situation, whatever vibration you personally find yourself in. I didn't mean to cut you off, Vanessa. I agree with what you said, Tony, like 100%. You definitely don't need college, but just as a word of warning for anyone that might see this video in the future, I cannot, like, having gone that pathway of dropping out of college and now having to pay the debt. If you started, finish.
I agree with
you have the opportunity before you enter. That's what I think. Like, if you're 17 or 18 before you even get into college, you should sit down with your parents then and figure out another pathway in life. But if if you're a sophomore or you're a junior and you're about to graduate, get your degree and then go on an adventure. Because it's a lot different being a scholar versus being a dropout. It's whole different.
No, yep. I can feel that. I'm also big on like self-orientation. Somebody who's extremely close to me didn't get far in school at all, and it's one of the smartest people I've ever met. Just a wealth of useless information, but it doesn't matter what category you throw at this person. He has an answer for it. He has an explanation. He has a theory. He has a history, a story, and it's just through through teaching himself. Huh?
Who is this?
Oh, no, my husband. Yeah.
Okay, great.
But he's one of the smartest people that I've ever come across, and he never went really far. So after meeting someone who has that ability, because there's very few that you come across, because I know he doesn't have a lot of education, but he does. And I would, like, my kids came to me and told me, like, I want to be a lawyer. I'd say start studying right now.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, wrong person. My bad, Vanessa. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on right now. My bad, Vanessa.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. But if my kids came to me and said that they wanted to do they wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor, I mean, obviously a doctor is different, but with a lawyer you just have to pass the bar. I'd say start studying right now. Get the books. What do you need? Like, what are you waiting for? If you know this is what you want to do.
Sorry about that, guys.
Best time, because we could teach ourselves. And I was always on the, if it was a school, I didn't have adults in my life that told me, like, you can teach yourself, you can do this on your own, you can go this avenue, you can try even though you don't have the credentials. Nobody told me that. So I think that's an important thing that I learned along the way that I want to instill in my kids. Like, you don't have to go to college, and you can even get a job or have a career that most people, everyone in my career, they all got degrees. You know, so, and I'm one of the few ones that don't, so So, but yeah, so I'm really big on self-educating yourself. If you know what you want to do, learn your industry. Teach yourself your industry.
I wanted to respond to something both of you said earlier, and I like connecting the thoughts of both people that are on. And you said you lead with passion, and you should definitely start with passion. Tony is a lot more methodical, and focusing on the how is also extremely, extremely important. But I wrote a book recently called Wealth, Health, and Success. And I think there's like the passion stage, and the passion stage is the very first step in the process. You do have to step with passion. But after a while, like you only have but so much energy, you only have but so much time, you only have but so much focus. You have to get into the thinking phase. But then, like, I think for a lot of people, I think they just need to start with their minimum value product. Just start with something and just focus on learning how to execute, focus on learning how to finish products, and just have like, I guess they like the cojones or like the chutzpah, like having the balls. You're a lady, so I don't want to like use that kind of language in front of you, but just having the balls to just have the conversation, just call the bookstore, so what if they don't want you to just call, call the IRS, just call, call the whatever it is that you need to do to get to where it's like you brought up the idea of limiting beliefs and not having the environment around you. That I'm an author, I'm a very great author. I'm the first author in my family, more than likely. You talk about dropping out of high school. I think my grandparents basically had like an elementary school education. Now, my grandfather sadly passed away, but my grandma's upstairs. She's about 93 or so. She can kind of read, but, the idea of being an author and making a living is something completely unheard of,
Yeah.
It's like I've seen people like there's this guy, Keith Williams, who's a very successful. He's up in New York. He just sells his books. Like his life is literally writing and selling books. He makes a stable living off of that. There's other people like Author Untamed or Christy Mann as well, who taking the passion, they've created publishing companies and they can at least subsist their existence in life. Like people don't think that it's possible to succeed in something, but I think they have to change their mentality and their viewpoints and what success looks like most of the times. Because if you're focusing only on some material gain, that's going to come if you're only focused upon money to begin with. So that's all you have to do is just charge more, instead of selling your book for free, you buy your own books and you sell them yourself.
Oh, I have a whole opinion about that. I have a whole opinion about that world of 99-cent books and free books. I can't stand it. I'm like, you know what we put into our books? Why would anyone want to sell their work for 99 cents?
I understand it though. Like, no,
I don't, because I think if everyone increased their prices, people are avid readers and they love to read, they would pay more. If I could pay $30 for shampoo because I like the way it makes my hair feel and smell, somebody would pay $15 for a book if every book on the shelf was $15 or up. But when you're pricing it at $2.99 and $3.99,
when that's possible?
I refuse.
When you have value for yourself, you can do that. When you don't have value for yourself, you don't believe you're going to make money doing it, you don't understand how to make money doing it, you have
it goes back to what you said initially when you said if money's the most important thing, for me, money's not the most important. Well, I'd rather sell fewer books. I don't mind doing like a 99-cent weekend or a free weekend or something like that. But I just think we put so much work into our books that and then it takes longer to sell.
And then you create your own problem. I spoke to an author about a few weeks ago when she joined the Multicultural Writers Collective, and she was in a pretty like rough situation, but she had like such a pride and such an ego. I respect that in people though. I don't like get turned off by that inside anybody because you got to believe in yourself. But then I looked at her author's page and I asked her two critical questions that she responded to, but she did not answer. And the first was, if you're in this situation, why the hell are you selling your books for free? It's like, if you have people that are supporting you, you have people that like your work, have them pay you to do this, because that's the only way that you're going to be happy with your life. And that's the only way that they're going to find some value in. If you're good at something and you're talented at it and you spend a lot of time doing it, Have people pay you for it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be these people that are charging 20,000, like Dan Locke, who charges like the entry class is about $15,000, and then it's just the sales pitch to get you to pay $75,000, and then that's a pitch to have him basically control your finances in life after that. Just not the wave.
Mr. Copywriter. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any?
I think there's authors
Because I
that
think we're
they
about to
put
get
their books
booted
for-
soon.
I've met a lot of authors that they put their books for 99 cents and then they pay to put them on websites that promote 99-cent and free books. And then so I get all these sales and I sold all these books. We sold them on $1 each. I'd rather sell 3 books a month.
Dollar store. Yeah. And if I can comment, so it's a few things with what you both said. Yeah. And there's strategies. If you have an Amazon singlet, like a 25-page book, you sell for $3. It's because it's a 25-page book.
Well,
but
yeah.
Like you, Vanessa, if with you, like with your book, like book, I concur with you. I totally agree. It's like you put a lot of time, money, and effort into that, right? And time's the only commodity you can't get back, right? And so my whole premise is, it should be, at the very least, not 1997, right, and up, right? Depending, you could do for one special, things like that, of course. But so it depends. So if you do a free book, you could have sponsors, meaning that because if you parlay it that's going to go to the masses, you're going to hit 100,000 people. You can get sponsors, right? So you're making money that way with the book. That's very different than giving away a free book to give away a free book. A lot of people are.
So maybe I don't understand enough of that side of the industry.
Right.
Yeah. That's something else I wanted to say earlier too, like way back. Tony spoke about mentorship, and I think people have to be ready and prepared for mentorship. It's like if you come at someone at a certain time when they're not ready to receive something, it's going to sound like an insult. Even if you give them a compliment, it's going to sound like an insult to them.
Right.
But that idea,
the teacher will appear. I don't mean to interrupt you. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Right? 1,000%, absolutely. But that's basically it. Like you have to be willing to be the student first. For me personally, it's like with anything that I did, editing was such a big hamper for me. I didn't want to edit my work. I would rather take the B than get the A just because I didn't want to press spell check. But now that I'm like at a larger level, now that I am selling my books, I want people to be able to understand what I'm trying to say without having any issue. I had to be willing to admit that I'm not good at certain things that I want to do and then hire other people. So it's a huge thing. I'm going to let both of you plug yourselves real quick. I got to find a different format to do this on, but I think we're going to get kicked off of here soon. Tony,
Sure.
Any final thoughts about the
Gonna wanna be my best friend, baby. You're gonna wanna be my best friend. I said that. You're gonna wanna be my best friend, baby. You're gonna wanna be my best friend. Best friend. You're gonna wanna be my best friend, baby. You're gonna wanna be my best friend.
I don't wanna speak 'cause you make my mind go insane. I don't wanna speak to you. I don't wanna sit around. I don't wanna speak to you. I don't wanna speak to you. Be with you, baby, move on. I don't wanna speak to you. Be with you, baby, you're gone.
We're on. We're back. Sorry about that. Janky technology. Probably I might do this on Facebook Live from now on and switch this with the live readings. And then I just have to worry about posting it on YouTube. I don't have to worry about time restraints or anything like that.
StreamYard is great. We use StreamYard a lot for events.
I see that. I'm looking into it. I want to see how Anthony Rosa puts his symbol right up there where the duck goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my boy. We're going to be doing another show coming up. We just talked about it actually yesterday.
He's great too. Like he's one of the other guys that I can tell there's a lion within him, but he's very humble.
He's amazing. He's my brother. He's just like him and I are two peas in the same pot, connecting people and helping We always go back and forth. We have a COVID testing company too together too. We're partners.
That's cool. I knew someone that was trying to get into that once COVID had kicked off, but they couldn't figure out the science of it all. They didn't have the how.
Yeah, you just got. I mean, we got doctors together, we got distributors together, and then we got like the clients. A lot of the Hollywood people. We did some of the bigger movies and so forth. Just put them together, and you let them do it. You just quarterback it. You know, you be the coach. That's it.
That's biggest facts. I'm learning a lot from you two right now. So the True Living Summit, what is that about?
Yeah, so briefly, you know, we talked about people making money with books and making a career and everything. You know, there is a formula. You know, there's a saying, the book is the bridge to your brain, right? And so, you know, we have a lot of friends. My friend Luann Rice has I think 17 books, like many New York Times bestselling books. 3 of them are movies, Cloud 9, Blue Moon, Silver Bells. You see it on Hallmark Channel around Christmas time. You know, she made millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? Hangs out with Bill Pullman and like, you know, Matt Dillon and, you know, these type people, right? So you can do it. You know, at this event, we have people that have done it, right? They weren't born into like that silver spoon, you know, club. They were born they were born into just not knowing what to do, but finding the mentor, right, and doing it. And so the word of the day with us is mentorship. And the second word,
access.
You know, and that's what I'm always about, access. You know, it's like we just talked about the COVID testing business. So I'm not a doctor, right? I'm not a major distributor, but I can put people together and set up the chessboard, right? And that's what it's all about, and making sure people play nice together in the same line. That's what it's about.
I always felt like I was that guy too growing up, that high school, middle school, that's like most of my life experience is just college school and then a few years on my own. But people are really cliquey, and I was just one of those guys that I didn't fit into a clique. I wasn't really a jock. I was into a lot of nerdy things, but I wasn't like a full otaku or wafu or anything like that. I just got to kind of drift along with all these different groups and all these different people. And I just kind of, in college, rather than high school, because in high school people are just very into identity, college is more into access, networking, and who are going to be my friends for the next 20 to 50 years.
Sure.
You know, when I'm 70 years old, who am I to have a beer with, basically? Yeah. But in college, I got to I feel kind of like what you're doing, but not as as a high level. I was a senator, so I got to connect a lot of people that otherwise would have never been in the same rooms together. I got to see a lot of synergies and things this is once I left college and I was just living in Kent, Ohio for a while. I met a guy from the May 4th Task Force, which is, I don't know if you know a lot about Kent State University, but back in
Kent State, yeah. My wife is in Kent State.
People do that every time.
Word association.
And no, I didn't get the 4.0. I got the 3.8. It's just the truth. I went Kent, Ohio, not Penn State, the good one, the okay one. No, Kent State University. It's a wonderful school. But during the Cold War, they had the May 4th shooting. So there's a task force there that's supposed to protect the May 4th memorial. It's like some real Game of Thrones type shit, to be honest with you. Excuse my language, but that's just the reality. And I knew that at the same night that I'm at this meeting for the May 4th task force, all the way across campus in the middle of the snow, there's a group, Black United Students, which I was associated with. I wasn't a member of it, but I was definitely a member of it in a different type of, not a member of their administrative board. Right. So I run across campus and I do not look ready for anything. I look like I'm wearing full black. I got on combat boots. I got on sweatpants. I have on a giant hoodie and jacket. And I used to carry around a giant stick everywhere, speak softly and carry a big stick. I just did that. Real life. I legit had a giant stick.
Wow.
In my hand, bigger than I was. I'm about 5'9". This thing was about 6 feet tall.
Nice.
I was on it some different back then. But I go there and I get to talk to the president of the Black United Students, and we still have the May 4th memorial to this day. They haven't torn it down yet. So I think that sense of connecting people that otherwise would have never been even aware of each other's existence, then like that's kind of I'm going to connect this to what Vanessa's talking about as well, is that when you feel like you're outside of that network, I think it's more important to start building your own. Like you can wait for the right person to come by, but I read this book called Click, and it's like you may not have the right there's like three things. One is chemistry, like Tony said. Another thing though is timing, and the last thing would be like that mutual interest, and you need all three of those to click. And if you guys meet each other, but it's not the right time, you guys can't figure out what, like, everyone's in your life for a purpose, you know? But if if you're with this person, you can't figure out, why is this person here? You know, what is this person, like, why did God put this person in front of me, basically? And if you can't think with that type of mindset, you're missing millions of opportunities, because I'm a member of a pretty big club now, and we're growing, but we're growing at a level that we're choosing very selective members, qualified members, people that are actually going to be able to help other people instead of just when's my turn, you know? And that takes time. You have to like have a certain type of understanding of other people, I guess, but also have that kind of openness like Tony does, that you're constantly looking at, where's this person's specialty? Where's this person's major strength? Where it's like playing chess in some ways. It's like, where can I put this person? What can I have them do for them to be most effective and them to find the most fulfillment? Because some people don't know that. They have a book out. I know one guy who was a member of the group, but he left. He had been writing for about 20 years or so, never hit his big break because he never wanted to market. He never wanted to do what was necessary. Even if you do like direct marketing, or you just go to social events, you just go to mixers and you just play the game in some ways, in so respect. Mm-hmm. It's like there's a way for every single person to find success, but you have to be willing to do what's necessary to get to you got to be willing to hire people, and a lot of people don't want to hire people. You got to be willing to take advice and take critique. A lot of people don't want to do that. You have to be willing to talk to people and be able to express your vision, being able to express your value. And a lot of people feel like it's not necessary. So, or like another thing is a major thing that Vanessa hit on is education. You have to have a very large, verbose sense of what you know and what you're good at in this world, and be able to utilize that to make yourself some goddamn money, because you need to eat, you need a roof, you need to provide. You know, at the end of the day, we can be as principled as we would like to be, but as I'm living right now, you need money. You know, it's very important. It can't not be about the money. Money doesn't have to be the first thing in your mind, but it has to be in the top 5, because at the end of the day, if you're dedicating 100 hours of your life or 40 hours a week to something, you should have some form of payoff to that. So you need that education. And I think what people limit themselves is that idea of limiting beliefs. They think that there's a millionaires club, but there's not one millionaires club. There are multiple. There are hundreds. There's 10,000 heirs clubs. There's $50,000 a year club. There's 6-figure clubs. You know, people get together to create things. People get together to make ideas come to reality. And that's really what it's I feel personally, that's what I look for. It's what's supposed to be about. So I think for Vanessa to really make your profit off those books, like I have some good months where I can probably live off of it, but it's different because I live off of the things that I learned from making the books. I live off of web designing, doing advertising, things of that nature. I don't necessarily make the money off of the books themselves, but there's a lot that you're going to learn. There's a lot of people that you can meet, especially within the book industry, that can convert what you're doing from I'm making $20 a month, I'm making $200 a month. There's a lot of things you can do within yourself, like cold calling bookstores, or you can do consignment with bookstores where they basically distribute your book for you, that you can buy a certain amount of copies of your own book, contact your local bookstore. I've been cold calling bookstores like every single day. Like I try to get a certain number in every single day, but you got to be willing to make those phone calls and have them co-sign your book, and they just hold your book for you. They sell it. You keep 60%, they take 40%, and you guys just keep that symbiotic relationship going. But you got to be willing to do things that I wouldn't say that you probably wouldn't want to do, but it's like if I was trying to have this conversation with my parents or something, I would have 1,000, but this isn't going to work, and this isn't going to work, and this isn't going to
Yeah.
work. Instead of having, it's like they're not willing. Don't judge your journey by your environment. I just had Omar Gonzalez on the show as well, and I just got done finished reading his book. It's like you cannot live your life based off your environment. You can't live if you're attempting to become the richest author in human history. You can't associate. You can associate. I wouldn't say that, but in your top 5 people that you spend time with, you can't have people there that don't have the same ambition or don't believe that you can at least do it, even if they don't even read books. You have to have people around you that are supporting, because there's no sense of having the other side. It's good to have critique. It's good to be able to take that, but if you're attempting to make a living off of your books, you didn't want to do high school, you didn't want to do college, you want to be a writer, you want to be a network marketer, books are the ultimate form of network marketing. Anything that you're learning from this hair care company, you can do so much to reapply to your
Absolutely.
books.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go. I kind of just went on my rant. Like every single one, I got to get one rant in at least. So that's my rant. Thank you guys. But go ahead, Vanessa. I'm sorry.
No,
I look like you.
No,
But that's
everything you said, I agree with. Is true, and it's all about putting the work in. One thing that I've done to strategize
the right work. Putting the right work in.
Yep, I stopped messaging just right. Like I was in author groups and stuff like that, but I started sending message to anybody who was verified. So I connected with a couple people off of that have like shows on Netflix and stuff like that, and nobody big time, but people who are willing to. One of them went through. I offered to send him a book, and he was like, "No, I'll buy it." And 2 weeks later, came back, sent me the screenshot that he bought it. He was like, "As soon as I get back on the road, I'll read it." And I've gotten a couple of wives from a TV show on Lifetime to repost my book and things like that. And I go live with them on Instagram and I chop it up with them. But I think after getting, it's like an association thing, So I connect with one girl from Lifetime and she's a verified person, and then she gets her friend from the show to follow me, and I start talking to her, and now I have 2 verified people. The next verified person I message, they're like, okay, well, I guess there's a couple people following her, and
Right.
It's kind of like, so I've just gone that avenue, and it's not going anywhere fast, but I don't expect it to. I'm really content. I think the other thing, somebody said something, I want to throw that in. I think the other thing with people that give up and don't continue, or because they don't celebrate the little stuff. Facts. I celebrate every message I get. I celebrate every sale I get. I celebrate every writing session I do. I award myself, I congratulate myself, I talk positive to myself for every little, and it almost drives my daughter crazy. Are you really again, are you excited because somebody sent you? I'm like, yes, because I sent them 3 messages in the past 6 months, and they just liked it. They didn't even write me back, but they liked it, and Facts. I'm grateful for that. And I think that if more people celebrated the little things, they think it's not enough, and that's why it's easy for them to stop or say it's they believe it's not enough.
Yeah,
that's 100% true, because it's when I first got started, most of the writers around me were very negative, very angsty, very just, I don't know. It seemed like we were all dealing with some form of mental illness or some form of depression, that, writing was the only form of catharsis that we had. But it also breeds a kind of mentality that you're just I got over depression by having to completely replaster my brain. I couldn't, it was at a point where I couldn't trust my brain to make positive decisions for myself, because I was just so cynical. I was so negative. I was so pessimistic. And I'm trying to figure out why am I like this? And then I looked around myself. I looked around what my friends were doing, and that's what we were like. That's what we were doing. Hey, what's up? You two look like twins.
You got paparazzi. He followed me. He heard I was going to be
entourage.
I don't want to.
No, you're more than welcome.
I don't want to drive your state. So keep going.
I met Christy.
I'll finish up, bro.
He's the reason why we knew him.
What's his name?
Christy's friend, who became.
Pleasure to meet you, man. Pleasure. Yeah. Welcome to Discussions.
Yeah,
happy to have you. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You get a front row seat. No, what?
What's that?
What'd you say? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I was. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
He asked what you said.
Oh, I was saying that when I first got started with writing, I'm not going to go the whole recap with it, but like a lot of writers deal with depression, they deal with mental illness, and writing is the only form of kind of release that we might possibly have. But it also reinforces things in a type of way when you're a very pessimistic or cynical person. Your brain makes it literally like neuroplasticity. It makes your brain create pathways to be more negative. When you are more grateful, when you are more positive, when you have a deeper sense of faith, your brain is reworking itself to be and practice more positivity. So a lot of people are suffering in life. I believe heaven and hell. I just had on Linda Bardo last week, and she's very big in Muslim faith and very big in trying to make Islam more accepting. I'm not a Muslim, by the way, more accepting and more loving. And that's why she had me and we were talking together. But it's like, I believe heaven and hell is something that's happening on the earth. You know, it's not something that's just going to happen when you die. You have your soul the entire time. So if you're using your brain the entire time to be your number one doubter, to constantly be in worry, to constantly be in fear of what might happen, to constantly think that you're not going to be able to succeed, that's exactly what you're going to get. It's not like a law of attraction, metaphysical type thing. It's just math, you know, it's just reality. Negative times negative is going to equal more negative. It's not going to magically become positive. But when you're doing the same thing, I had to rework my life for literal years. I had to like completely disconnect myself from every comfort that I had before to be happy just being alive. You know, it's like because everything seemed to be tied to some type of end or some type of agenda or some type of like dopamine satisfaction, but it wasn't tied to just being on earth, feeling joyful. I'm happy to wake up this morning. It's always like, there's always, especially like being a man, like there's always some goal. There's always some shit we have to be doing. There's always some mission. There's always some quest. There's always someone. It's like living in an RPG. Like there's someone that always needs help. But you have to eventually get to a point where like, especially to be successful. I mean, like I'm not the most successful one in this group. I think Tony definitely takes that for a mile. But hopefully you might agree that you had to eventually be happy within yourself to eventually be able to be around all these people who are just equally successful, if not more than. Like you have to be able to be content with yourself. And it's not that contentment is just being satisfactory or just accepting what you have and nothing more, but you have to be aware of your situation. You have to be accepting of where you're at and being willing to work for that. You said that you had a mentor. So at some point you knew and you realized I have to expand and I have to learn more, but you had to do that with grace. You had to do that with humility. You had to do that with knowing what your value was to this person and what you can do to help them. What was it like when you were going through your mentorship? I think you said how you met each other, but like, what was the true value that you found in mentorship?
Can you hear me? I'm in a not good area.
I can hear you. I can hear you great. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you. You both have shared a lot of great gems, and what I want to say is that the most successful person here is the happiest person, right? Success is happiness, right? The person on the street that is happy, and the person in the mansion that's not on the street is, yeah. So but thank you for that. And at the end of the day, is that to answer your question, it's talking to Will all the time now from Tesla Foundation. He's built 9 gigantic companies. Jurassic Park with Steven Spielberg. He did Fast and Furious. He did American Pickers. He's done, he's helped Elon get into the car industry, which became Tesla. The bottom line is that, he told me, do you think I'll be able to build my first company out of my garage from one person in 2000, sell it for $165 million in a decade if I was the bottleneck? So he said, I have ego, but I think I had to do it all myself, right? And we all go through that. In the beginning, we think we all always got to do it ourselves. It's only when we step out of ego, right? And we it's like a waffle commercial, Lego my ego, right? Like Lego my ego, right? When you let that go, that's when you realize that, he said that I asked for help. I asked for help, right? So I'm not the bottleneck.
Biggest facts.
And and that's it. We're putting together, Restart America right now. It's non-political, but if you check out re-startamerica.org, You know, he's got incredible people, Madeline Long from Congress, and obviously Will, myself, Kedma. You guys know Kedma, she wrote the book of Target Funding. Rudy from the movie Rudy, the actual Rudy, and you know, many other names. I'm not going to tell you all of them. It's some A-list celebrities that are backing it and so forth. And you know, he had over 12 million, is it 12 million? 12 million engagements since January 1st, since it launched, right? Because he calls me, he calls people and says, I need help. He literally says, I need, this guy's a gazillionaire. He says, I need help, right? And so he puts teams together in the respective places. And that's what it's about. It's about having the humility to ask for like a mentor, a coach, help, a referral, or whatever, right? And a referral, by the way, it's not like a 1, 2, 3, here, you go call this person. A proper referral, and this, if I say anything that comes out on this podcast right now that comes out a certain way, please listen to this. This is the one thing I think I do better probably in 0.1% of the entire world. And I've been told this by everyone. A referral is not a referral. You don't just say, call, you know, go call Jim, tell me you're friends with Tony. You don't do that. You literally pre-call, call, post-call. You do a pre-call. I'll give you an example yesterday. I'm going to tell you real things. So I have a gentleman, Ryan Horst. He builds bot docs. He's my buddy. He's a good-looking kid. He's done really, really well. He's dating some, you know, major influencer girl. And he built a pretty good company. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. His father, Darren, has a medical supply company for like 40 years, right? It's like 30, I think 39 years, almost 40 years, right? Successful guy, right? He has all this inventory, PPE, and all these things that he needs to move. And he actually generally wants to help people. So he has a heart to help. And, you know, he's getting ready to sign a big contract with the government. And he just did a big deal with Sean Penn's not-for-profit. But he has all this stuff and he wants to help. So I have that hearing, Will, Building Restart America. Page 1 is all this content for what's going on right now with, you know, COVID, with Black Lives Matter, with homelessness, to solve these problems, right? Right. So that's the first page. Page 2 is COVID relief products. Page 3 is funding for small businesses that people don't even know exist. It's a hub of CARES Act money, which is what Madeline Long, you know, is part of, by the way, $2.3 billion per state. CARES Act money, PPP grants, and things like that. So I had a hearing that this guy has all this inventory, and he's willing to send out like a box of gloves or a box of masks to a hospital to help them. He doesn't need an order of, you know, 500,000 like a lot of these companies. I put him together with Will, and I said, listen, this is what you have to know about Will. Will built the technology, became Realtor.com. Will did Jurassic Park with Steven Spielberg. Will's in with Elon, you know, with Tesla founded, blah, blah, blah. And I said, so he's a very calm person, but the word of the day with him is fulfillment. Or you have all the stuff, but he needs to know if we're going to bring this into school systems nationwide. Madeline's petitioning to, you know, to the schools and so forth. She's in very much with the new administration. She's very close to Mrs. Biden and all these people. You know, you have to be able to fulfill, right? The word of the day is fulfillment. And so this guy's a very successful man with a very successful medical supply company. He listened, took my advice. I then go back to Will. I say, Will, this is what he has, and this is what he's looking for, and this is blah, 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 right? And so then I schedule a time for both of them. I go on the call with them, okay? And I then do my, everyone knows stick wise, so let me introduce and identify you first. I do my introduction. Everyone jokes like, you know, that I'm famous for my introductions, you know? And I edify this person for who he is, Will, and all his accolades that he brings to the table. I then edify Darren and all his accolades he brings to the table. And I say what the purpose of the call is. And I say, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let two friends talk right now. All right, and Will, this is Darren, this is Will. And then I literally put the phone on mute so I don't start getting into my thing, right? My purpose is to connect. I then listen, and then they're pleasant and they do their thing. And he asked questions. He took my advice and he said he could fulfill on a small order or a large order. And the bottom line is he offered for him to be the fulfillment guy for the second page of Restart America. It's a gigantic thing. Now he could literally supply the country for what's needed with the school systems and so forth, while Will's doing his thing with Madeline, with the school systems and so forth, and, you know, from the political side. So again, putting people together. I then get off the call, post-call, right? And then I have the conversation with Will, and then with Ryan. Actually, I didn't get on with Darren, but I normally would get on with Darren, Ryan, his son, who was on the call. And I say, what do you think? And then they tell me what they think. And then I hear what they heard, and then I share with them what I believe I heard, right? Also knowing their personalities too. We can have a whole separate talk about DISC and personality profiling and things like that. It's amazing. You know, you have to calibrate to the person you're speaking to. That's a whole separate entity, and I teach that. I have sales courses with that. You know, behavioral communication and mentorship programs with that. But the bottom line is that, the post call then sets up the next step, because it's always about the next step. And that's my famous thing, what's the next step? And then they tell me, and then we move forward into next week. We had a call with the Minister of Housing with Belize last week. It was our second call. And we might bring these solar communities out there, and they're excited. They want to bring 2,000 over and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, what's the next step? There's many steps along the way. It's always about moving it forward. But if there's one thing I can share that anybody listening takes away from, okay, please understand that a referral is not a referral if someone says, hey, just go call Jim. Referral is a person getting on the phone, introducing you properly, okay? Because a friend of a friend is a friend, and people do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? So I can go on and on. I'm going to stop myself right there, but getting excited.
Sorry, I'm writing that last thing down. Know, like, and trust. So you're saying that a true referral, you have to actually introduce the people and have them meet in some type of actual way. It isn't just still okay. It's not just sending someone along the merry way.
Yeah, it's two friends coming together. That's what it is. And always understand this: when you meet a human being, it doesn't matter who they are, but when you meet a human being, you go through this process with every human being you'll ever meet, right? So first, right, it's a person's a stranger, right? Then they're an acquaintance. Then they're a friend. As long as there's rapport and you're listening, and you have a hearing for what they need too, and you're self-serving, right? So stranger, acquaintance, to friend, to trusted advisor. When you get to trusted advisor, that's when people typically do business with you, right? And then in some instances, you go to the next level, which we can joke and we can say guru, but really it's thought leader, right? That's obviously a Tony Robbins or a Grant Cardone or a Mike Peluso, like my buddy, right? He coaches VP of Verizon, and all these people paying like $50,000 a year and so forth, blah, blah, blah. The guy running the retreat with me. So, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, the thing is on again. That's the process, and it always is, and it's never not. If I can leave
What's up?
advice I can give you right now, as my computer starts. I'm going to tag Ryan in. He's my tag team partner.
What's up, Ryan? So, Ryan, this is discussions. I just have Vanessa and Tony on. Vanessa's an author. I'm an author. And Tony's doing the True Living Summit that has a publishing aspect to it. So we talk about author stuff. Just want to let you know what show you're on before anyone says, oh my God, that's right. It's not that big of a show though, so don't worry. People might see it, but no one knows.
Producing it, right? It's an Oprah. No, I'm kidding.
We actually have Shaquille O'Neal, so
Nice.
he's our number one sponsor.
Nice.
That'd be awesome, though. I'm definitely open to sponsorships if you guys know anybody. Get this off.
Dwayne's father, my friend, unfortunately he passed away in March, Rocky Johnson. Soulman Rocky Johnson from the 70s.
Yeah.
He was the first African-American champion, him and Tony Atlas. And he was a wonderful man. He was partners with Shaq with some gyms, actually. But that was my connection with Shaq.
Shaq's actually, we were talking about AEW and that thing with Mark Calloway. But Shaq is actually going to be wrestling Cody Rhodes. I'm not sure if it's going to be this year, but sometime in the future. Wow. Shaquille O'Neal is actually going to be on AEW. They've been teasing it for about 3 to 5 months now. They have this woman, Jay Cargill, amazing talented athlete. She has the most amazing six-pack abs I've ever seen on any human being. Along just it's truly and honestly, but that Shaquille O'Neal maybe one day is going to be sponsoring discussions.
Interesting.
That's a book. I would love to have him on.
I missed a call from Cody in 2000.
Cody's low-key petty as fuck, so he might. I was so upset.
I was so upset. I didn't know the call was coming in. You hear me? I see myself moving slow.
It's kind of I think the broadband went down a little bit. The Wi-Fi connection.
So Kurt was wrestling Cody overseas, but even before that, I was partners with Kurt on the app company. We had a lot of athletes. Yeah. We had this app where you can play along with the athletes. So we had Velvet Sky was in it. So Jamie's her real name, so I would have Jamie do it. Yeah.
So I don't know Jamie personally. No, go ahead.
Yeah, she actually. My friend's brother, which is funny, a long time ago before
she's gorgeous, man. With all due respect to my girlfriend,
I'm a married man. I can't comment.
I can't comment either.
I missed the call from Cody. Jimmy Noonan is good friends with Cody. He was the head of WWE security for many years, and he called me with him to get him involved. And I was so aggravated I missed the call. I never spoke to him, but you know, we'll see down the road. But
Cody's
anyway,
really
Cody's awesome. I want to say something to Vanessa, and I said this earlier, and actually both of you guys. So again, finding what, you know, I look at myself as a talent scout. I look to see what the best qualities are. I have to pull them out, right? Like, Daryl, you're a simple guy. You have a kindness about you, and you have a sweetness about you that people like. You know, Ryan is very like a calm person overall, and people tend to like him for that too, which is good. He's also probably the best person I've ever seen at starting random conversations with people. He's really good at it. And Vanessa, you have a drive that's in you, in addition to your voice, right? In addition to your pitch and inflection, your tone, you have a good voice that like you're very easy to follow, right? But you also have that drive. In my opinion, you know, I don't know you guys too well, right? I'll consider you guys friends already, but like, you know, I'm sure there's more qualities that you have, but those are ones that stand out immediately to me. And those are both very good qualities. Like Vanessa, I never want you to stop. Like, I want you to keep going. And the fact that you've already connected with some people that are, you know, some names, whether they're, you know, giant names or not giant names, that's the start, right? You keep just doing what you're doing long enough for long enough to happen. That went through.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
No, that was it. I talked a lot, so go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I've tried like really hard to kind of work on that because it just seems like a lot of people are just really dog eat dog in this world. And there has to be somebody out there that might have the power to like win a fight or whatever. But you have to be willing to have those conversations. Like having conversations will save your life. You know, it avoids, I used to do security a while back. So a big thing with being in those type of positions where violence can be one drunk person away one night is being able to have conversations with people, just small chat or something when they're coming into the bar, when they're leaving the bar, one, to make them feel at home, make them feel comfortable, but also build that sense of rapport already that, yeah, I am a security person here. And like, I do have the authorization to kick you out if I need be, but like, let's start this off on a good note. Let's continue having a good time. I'm going to let you leave and we're going to have another good time. But just having the 3 points of connection, similar to what you're saying with pre-call, call, and post-call, that you want those kind of 3 points, 7 points of connection, just because like people need to be able to identify who you are and what you stand for rather than just having this hidden agenda. I don't have like a real agenda to hide. Like what I'm doing is very pure and honest. I just want people to be more successful than they currently are. And I can't do that in secret. I can't do that hiding. But what I have issue with sometimes is that because I'm like that and because I'm like that very naturally, people still don't fucking trust me. It's like, I feel like it gets questioned.
They don't trust you?
No, like I feel like I get questioned more because I'm trying to be very candidly nice that you can't really be that way. It's like, it can't be real. And it's like, yeah, it is. This is just how I live. Other than this, I'm just not talking. I'm just quiet. But I don't know. I don't get that with people sometimes. Because it's like they're not used to it.
Okay.
It's just not, they've never seen it.
Well, it depends. And I'm going to talk more about this at the event because we have like 50 plus speakers. I'm one of them, graciously and gratefully. So very briefly, there's 4 types of people. There's DISC, DISC, right? So you guys can check it out more so, in your own time. You can take a DISC personality profile. They're free on the internet. My buddy Joe Peachy is the 2nd top DISC trainer in the entire world. You can check him out, Peachy and Peachy. So DISC, right? Someone's a D, they're direct, they're dominant, they're decisive, right? So you think Mark Cuban, you think Donald Trump, you think Barbara from Shark Tank, you think Susie Orman, right? Nothing wrong with personalities, just people, right? You have an I. You have an I. An I is somebody that's intellectual, inspirational, intuitive, right? That's Barack Obama. That's Tony Robbins. People are more folksy. I's are more folksy. I'm an I, right? I'm not saying I'm those things, but I'm an I, right? I talk, so that's what I do. And S is somebody sweet, stable, studious, a little bit more shyer. Those are more people that you don't really know a lot of famous S's for the most part. Some of them are authors. My dear friend Luann Rice, who I spoke about, she's an S personality, sweetest human being you ever meet, right? A C personality is calculative, concise, correct, right? They're numbers driven. They're only 11% of the world. They're the lowest group of people, okay? But they see the world through numbers. You think Elon Musk, you think Einstein, you think people like that, right? They're very numbers driven, not always people friendly. They're very process driven, right? So when we have to be mindful of like blanket statements when we say people are this or people are that, it's really the right people, so me naturally, I obviously am very good with eyes. You're an eye, by the way, Daryl, right? You're an eye, right? So we can talk for like 4 hours, right? It's just who we are. I have to calibrate like some of my like Hollywood producer buddies, my buddy Rich Cohen, love him with all my heart, great guy, big time showrunner. He's a D. When I get on the phone, sometimes I go blah, 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 and then he's like, yeah, all right, what else is going on? And then I realize I'm talking to Rich, calibrate to the D. So I have to speak slower. I have to speak more concise. I have to speak more direct because I have to speak the language he speaks in. And I learned that from Doug O'Brien, Tony's guy. Most people go like this when they're trying to communicate, but then you have to start dancing. And this is what we would do on stage, right? You go like this, you start dancing with each other and you mirror match and model them. And so nobody's a one size fits all and everybody's an algorithm and you have to just figure out the people algorithm. But there are some categories and we're always a primary something and a secondary something else. So I'm a primary I, secondary D, and S, they want people to speak very, they want compliments, right? And they want to be assured and things like that. And that's okay, that's great. And then C's are like cut the bull crap, get to the numbers, right? So, we got to be mindful of like blanket statements because there are really good people out there. There really, really are, and I always say this, right? Rose-colored glasses, you get to choose the color glasses. If I told you both right now, hey, Vanessa, hey, Daryl, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue in your room, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Stop. Tell me everything that's the color red. You're like, oh, I was looking for blue and therefore I saw more blue. It's the same thing when you go buy a car, you go buy a Toyota or a BMW, you see a BMW everywhere, you see a Toyota everywhere. Remember I got my first like super nice car, the first black BMW, I saw them everywhere. It's not because everyone went out and bought a BMW, but 95% of our minds distort and generalize and we focus on 5%. So it's what they say, the law of attraction or the power of focus, like Tony Robbins says, right? It's that, right? So if you can learn that, if you can master that, that in and of itself can help you really, laser focus can help you accomplish anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have 1 minute left. So Vanessa, any closing? Oh, I'm just going to say, where can people find you on social media?
Oh, my handle is A Writer's Vibe. And awritersvibe.com is my website.
Okay, cool. Tony, where can people find you? Where can they sign up for the True Living Summit?
It is the TrueLivingSuccessSummit.com, TrueLivingSuccess.com, or you can go to TrueLivingLeaders.com, TrueLivingLeaders.com, and we have a 50% off code too. They can reach out for being on the show as well, get the ticket for half price as well.
Awesome. There's also a Facebook page as well, I believe.
Correct. That's the True Living Network.
Great. And all my social media handles are going to be in the YouTube description. Thank you two so much for joining me. I would love to have you both on again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk soon. Thank you so much, Tony. I'll definitely send you a message. I think I have your cell phone number from last time.
Okay,
so,
cool. Reach out to
I'll
me.
take it. I'll hit you up, and it was nice meeting you guys.
Thank you.
You too.
Or seeing you again, rather.
Go get my cake, I ain't taking no pay cut, you know that I'm wildin'. It's time to wake up, go get my cake up, I don't break up the makeup, you know that I'm out here. It's time to wake up, go get my cake up, ain't taking no pay cut.